Welcome to Soundscape Crusaders,
a music discovery podcast where we pair music with meaning.
Join co-hosts
Nate
and Levi on this journey
as we dive deep and examine one song an episode,
discuss what we love about it,
and then pair it with something that emotionally
and tonally
coincides with the song.
Incident at Neshabur by Santana.
Yeah, no, Jason X is going it's going full ape shit. I mean, to the point where you get to spacing, him in the suit like that. I mean, that movie knows what it is. I mean, it's a guy in a fucking hockey mask, guys. Get over it. Like,
he wants to kill.
If you hate Jason X, you don't like fun.
No one thought they were making a prestige movie when they sent Jason into space, like just let it be a thing and it's awesome. So I think we should, we've been talking an hour now. Preston, how about you tell us about what your song is, and then we're going to listen to it.
Sure. So this song is called Incident at Neshabur. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation, but it's a track by Santana, the band, off of their sophomore album, Abraxas. And I love thanks, Nate. No, I love Santana. I always have. My mom grew up in that era when they were like really, really popular. I mean, they're popular now, but that was her time period. So I listened to a lot of their music then because like she liked soul music. So and Santana's Latin soul. And this is known as the album. It's best known as the album with Black Magic Woman on it, which is arguably their biggest hit song outside of Smooth. But I really love this track especially because I love how crazy and anarchic it gets. And I love pure instrumentals for one thing. And I love how it begins as a wild incident and eventually becomes soul and becomes very restful and almost a respite song. And it's a song that I listen to whenever I'm in the car, because I like to hype myself up and then detox instantly. I don't know, I'm weird like that. And this song kind of epitomizes my weird ass music taste. So I hope you guys like it. If not, I completely understand because it is different. It is very much a deep cut, but yeah.
So Nate, you didn't know that this was going to be the song.
I didn't know.
Have you heard this?
I have listened to Abraxas front to back. It's a fantastic record. It's been a while since I've revisited it, probably like 29. It's probably been 10 years since I've revisited it. Obviously, Black Magic Woman's great. Oye Como Va's really good too. Those are the two tracks I usually come back to on it. That one has Hope You're Feeling Better on it, right?
That's on Santana.
Okay. Well, I like that song.
I believe so.
But I remember listening to Abraxas. So the track... I know I can't remember it too well, because like I don't really, aside from like movie scores, I like instrumental tracks. I don't listen to too many instrumental tracks as I should. So it's been a while, but Abraxas is great. I do remember that. That'll never come out of my head. The opener is an instrumental as well, and it's really good as well. I can't remember the name of it. What is it called?
The
Singing
album
Winds.
art is incredible.
Yeah. Santana's super fucking talented. That dude can shred. I definitely think he's top 5 guitarist. Probably top 3, at least for myself. But that can always fluctuate. Except for number 1. Prince will always be number 1.
Wow. Prince over Jimmy.
Yeah. Prince, super talented. I think he's the best. I think he had the best run of records in the 80s. I think that's a really hot take. But okay,
he has
Preston,
some great records.
Preston. Okay, let me preface this.
I'm not mad. No, I'm just because you know more about music than I do. That's why I'm so interested.
So my mother and my mom's family is from Minneapolis, where he is from. And my grandfather has 12 brothers and sisters, and one of his sisters went to high school with Prince. They knew each other. They weren't really good friends or anything like that, but they knew each other. And so like I have a little bit of a tie. Like Prince was always played in my house. My mom saw him at least twice. Purple Rain tour was one of the tours she went to. Yeah. So Prince has been in my house for a long ass time. I think Purple Rain is top 10
It's
records
amazing
for me. It's fantastic. The movie's all right, but the record is phenomenal. And Sign of the Times might be my favorite double LP of all time. Either that or the White Album. I flip on those. So I love Prince.
Sign of the Times. No, Sign of the Times. I think that has a door on it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Hold on.
I'm a terrible
I'm like
singer, 95%. So don't judge me for that.
No, I'm 95% positive. Keep talking though. I could talk about Prince all day, but continue.
I love Sign of the Times. That's another great album. Yeah, no, I like a lot of what I've heard from Prince. I need to do a bigger deep dive into his discography. I even remember liking. I like Controversy a lot. That's a great album.
Controversy's great. His self-titled's really good.
What's the one where he has his shirt? Is that the one where he has his shirt off and he looks all like steamy and just like handsome and shit? That album?
You might be thinking of Parade.
That's the one with the lover.
That's his self-titled. Yeah, that's his self-titled.
Okay, yeah.
Some other good ones are Dirty Talk. Dirty Talk's really good.
Okay.
And Parade has Kiss on it, which I think is just such a good track. And then
his range, man. His vocal range on that track alone.
And like just like take Purple Rain the record, like he like composed all that and he could play all that. He needed a band just, to tour and to perform it in the studio with him. But that's incredible.
The last thing I'll say before we jump back to Santana is the track Computer Blue. It's not my favorite track on Purple Rain, but it's my favorite song to just listen to the music. Because I've never heard a song that is so initially minimalist, but the way that he composes it, he repurposes that same minimalism throughout the track. It's a 5-minute track. I think it's so impressive. We're gonna have to one day. We're just gonna have to.
We need to talk this out because "Baby I'm a Star" is easily my favorite track on that record. Isn't it so good, dude? Oh my god,
it's so good.
And then it bleeds into Purple Rain, dude. When he played at the halftime show, I still think it's the best halftime show I've ever seen during the Super Bowl. Like,
I completely 1,000% agree. Nate, you are the man.
I love Prince, dude. Preston, come back on. I'll pick a Prince song. We'll have a good time.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Preston, your character in that student film we made introduced himself to a Prince song, by the way. when you hit Caleb.
Yeah. No, how can I forget that?
Oh shit, what are you doing? Black, when are you time, Shredder? Get in, now!
I was in a huge Prince phase during that time.
It made sense because that whole 80s aesthetic, the way you recapture it,
so good.
I'm like,
so much good.
It's so good.
That was fun to shoot.
I'm still trying to make a sequel. I'm still trying to write a sequel. Except it would be way better now because it would. I wrote that and shot it in a weekend, within 2 days.
Dude, I can see you becoming like a modern day Peter Hyams, like the way that you love, or John Hyams, his son, I guess. I haven't seen Universal Soldier: Day of Reckoning. I know that's Action Twitter's favorite right now. But,
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, no, I need to just do a deep dive of DTV stuff because
I want to make something really dumb soon, but anyway.
But yeah, Santana is fantastic. Black Magic Woman used to be on Guitar Hero 3, or was on the Guitar Hero 3 set list, and that was so fun. It was so much fun to play. But so I know this song, but like I said, it's been a long ass time since I've listened to it, so it'll be kind of fresh-ish enough.
So do y'all wanna listen to the song?
Yeah, I need to
Sure.
get a refresher in. So
So Preston, usually what we do is we all zero out and then we hit play on one. So we count down from 3, 2, and then on one we play it. So we have
yeah, so we changed it up. Like we don't come in ahead of time listening to the song.
Okay.
We don't have really any show prep. So like our reactions are going to be like the most.
yeah, it's
intimate.
more like
It's
a game
raw.
now. It's a very diverse track. It's a very diverse track.
That's why I picked it. Was that well? For one thing, I didn't want to pick anything that was like the last time I was here, just because I wanted to provoke a very different kind of discussion. But I
Right.
also feel like Santana is obviously he's a very high selling musician. He's very prominent, as Nate just said. Like he's very heralded guitarist, but I feel like still a lot of people like I communicate with don't really talk about him as much as we talk about the other rock legends, rock gods, as it were. So, and
Yeah.
I think I love that track the most on this album. It's actually my favorite track on here because I think it's the track, at least on this album, that has his most diversity, and it very much uses the very underappreciated medium of jazz rock to basically just like really show you the range of the band for 5 minutes straight. It's also
Right.
chill. Like it starts off as just this crazy ruckus, and then but organized ruckus at that, and then it slowly segues into just like perfect jazziness.
Yeah.
It's yeah. No, I'm glad y'all like this track.
Yeah, it starts off with a bang, like it's hard, it has a lot of bravado, and then it slowly slides into this elegant, like almost romantic kind of, you're sitting out in like, I don't know, the picture that came to my mind was like a nice summer evening picnic kind of thing, like just nice and quiet. And that's such a huge jump from where you start out at the beginning, because like I just looped this song over again, and it's almost jarring because you're like, oh, this is the same song, but it's tailored so well throughout the track that you don't even notice the change. You just kind of roll with it, which is really great.
Yeah.
I think this song is a really good really good highlight for how talented the band is, not only as like just technical musicians solo, but how well they work as a unit. Because so the first thing that really kind of stuck out to me throughout the whole track is how the drummer and the bass player were essentially in sync. The keyboardist and Santana himself on guitar, like those two guys, the bass player and the drummer, just like really kind of kept everything going forward, and kind of kept everything within a certain, not rhythm, but within a certain sense of, I guess, closeness. I don't think that's the right word, but it kept the band together from like veering into like freeform jazz or something like that. But like the first chunk of the track is like the keyboardist, which I think this record came out in '68, and that was like it was like definitely like when keyboards are starting to become big. When people think of organ player or a keyboard player, they think of the Doors. That's the first band that really comes to mind for myself. But like other bands were implementing keys, like Beatles did it all the time. Rolling Stones did it for a good chunk of their phase too. John Paul Jones played keys for Led Zeppelin, even though that's the 70s. But I think this song is just a super good highlight for how talented they were, because obviously Black Magic Woman, I think, is a fantastic track, and it really highlights Santana's technical prowess as a guitar player. But in this song, all their band members get to shine. Everyone gets to really show off how impressive they are as a musician. And I just think the drummer, the bass player, did such a good job keeping everything going and still letting these guys go out and do like their wicked cool solos, let them improv for a little bit. But I think the track just goes through so many like highs and lows. It feels like you're on a wave on the the ocean. You hit your like initial like crash, with the bombastic beginning, and then you start chilling out, and then you get back into it, then you chill out again, and it's a really well composed track. And man, I think this comes like this is in the middle of Abraxas, right? This is like track 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's right. If you have the vinyl, and I only know this because I've only listened to this on streaming, but I believe it's right before you flip the vinyl over.
Okay, so it's the last song on side A. I think this track is such a good middle point for the record. It just would fit. It just sounds like it fits so good in the middle. But I forgot how like talented they all are, aside from Carlos Santana. And I think this track just does a really good job representing, all those different musicians. It's a really good track.
I think it does. Well, I think it. No, I appreciate your insight. And no, seriously, I think kind of like you said, like it's a track where everyone shines and they're allowed to improvise, but it still remains the same. I mean, that's what I love about rock and jazz, and why I feel like both genres often go hand in hand.
Are you super big into the grunge kind of?
It's interesting.
movement?
I actually didn't get into grunge until college, so that's when I listened to the Alice in Chains album. What is that called? Rain When I Die.
We talked about them last week.
Dirt. There you go.
Dirt. It's a
Bones,
great record.
That record, yeah.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. I love Alice in Chains.
Yeah. I love that. Dude, you'll like our last episode. We talked about a song off the self-titled record.
Hell yeah, dude. Nice. No,
Yeah, I'm excited.
I've been getting Soundgarden as well. Literally ever since this past year. What a voice, seriously. And I was man, I feel bad telling you guys this. I mean, because you guys probably worship at Chris Cornell's, genius, but like I literally didn't get into him until the past year. Like, and I know these bands are good, like Soundgarden and bands like that, but I just hadn't taken the time to.
Pearl Jam, Nirvana,
Pearl Jam's
Alice in
great.
Chains. That's so exciting because like that's the stuff I like listened to in like middle school and high school because I not gonna lie, angsty as fuck.
Man, I'm angsty now. Why do you think I'm listening to it now?
But like it's cool to like hear you.
Well, I'm angsty now, bro.
Dude, like I would love to like hear like. Dude, I would love to hear like this is your first time listening to it. Like I would love to hear that someday. Like how like what that felt like because like I remember listening to Dirt. I was like, what did I say, Levi? I was like 12, 13. Because my dad owned that CD, and there was Them Bones was on Guitar Hero 2, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, look at this song." And he's like, "Let me show you up, son. Like, I have the record."
Your dad did a good job.
Yeah.
Well, since like y'all kind of commandeered this part of the discussion, like, let me ask you this time: what pieces of media would y'all pair this with? I've thought about mine all day. The moment I suggested this song to you, I was like, I knew I didn't have to think that hard. I was like, I know what is perfect for this. I just do. But
I think I have a good idea.
This was a tough one for me for a little bit, but once I got on a certain track, it became pretty easy. So I was going in between two teen movies actually, because I felt like the energy of the song itself kind of felt like that might fit. Both of the ones that came to mind initially are both from 1989. The one I didn't pick is Heathers. So
Okay.
I almost went there, but it didn't quite fit. So what I ended up going is the more romantic route, because the end of this song has a very it's just sweet. It's sweet and it's innocent, where you have that very big like hard start at the beginning. And it's almost like there are two different characters. One's like kind of more of a ruckus and messy. The other one's clean and studious. So that's why I went with Say Anything.
Hell yes!
That's what I chose.
I'm gonna take out Diane Court.
Diane Court doesn't go out. She's a brain trapped in the body of a game show hostess. We don't want to see you get hurt.
I want to get hurt.
Diane Court.
Hello, Diane?
Looking at you tonight.
Lloyd Dobler, sir. I'm an athlete, so I rarely drink. Kickboxing. I heard of kickboxing, sport of the future? I can see by your face, no. My point is you can relax because your daughter will be safe with me for the next 7 to 8 hours, sir. Whoa.
Did you really come here with Lloyd Dobler?
I watched that recently for the first time, like
What?
Like within the last month or so.
Did you hold your boombox high, boy?
Bro, yeah,
It's a great movie.
It was
a great movie.
It was so much more sweet than I expected it to be. Like I thought it was going to be like
Well, it's
most
charming, isn't it?
80s
Like,
teen,
it's actually
teen
so
romances.
genuine.
Yeah, and it's
sincere, you know.
It's a beautiful
and
movie.
it's amazing to see a movie where like they have a character, like everyone's pushing back against him, saying he's like a slacker or whatever. And like when he's like, everybody pushes back against him when he's like, my purpose in life is to be with her and to make her happy. And that's it. And like, it's such a simple thing for him, and people treat him like he's like a loser for it, which is such an interesting conflict to have.
So Lloyd, you graduated Lakewood, right?
Yes, sir.
What are you gonna do now?
Now, Lloyd, what are your plans for the future?
Spend as much time possible with Diane before she leaves.
Seriously, Lloyd.
I'm totally and completely serious.
No, really.
You mean like career? I don't know. I've thought about this quite a bit, sir, and I would have to say, considering what's waiting out there for me, I don't want to sell anything, buy anything, or process anything as a career. I don't want to sell anything bought or processed, or buy anything sold or processed, or process anything sold, bought, or processed, or repair anything sold, bought, or processed. You know, as a career, I don't want to do that. So, my father's in the Army. He wants me to join, but I can't work for that corporation. So what I've been doing lately is kickboxing.
And I was not expecting
She's
it.
like the like she's gonna go to college and kind of thing, like move away and all that. Yeah.
I want to say that was Cameron Crowe's directorial debut too, because he had written Fast.
It is. I know it's
Yeah.
his movie. I think it is his directorial.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
I know,
what Wikipedia says.
Who's the? Is it Ione Skye? Is that who plays that's who plays the love interest, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, John Cusack and Ione.
She's so good.
Skye.
I don't know if I pronounced that right, but she's.
I
so
saw it.
good.
I literally saw it after college. Like that was I had never seen it either until a few years ago.
Yeah.
No, much like you, I didn't see it until a few years ago, and I really liked it. The moment you said 1989, I was like, oh, I hope he goes say anything. And it's sweet, man. I'm so glad you liked it, man. I need to rewatch it myself.
I'm upset. That's a great pick.
The song itself has those two characters in it. I really felt like that would like, whereas like, I don't, could I picture that song in this movie? Maybe, but tonally, I think it kind of tells the story of the movie in it. So
That's so interesting you picked that, because for one thing, that confirms that Nate is the 80s king for having that picture. But then the other point I want to make is that when we get to me, I actually picked another Cusack movie. So that's ironic.
Oh.
Whoa. I'm wondering if this is going to yet again create a great like little triple feature. That'd be interesting.
It might.
Because so far we've had some.
No, we've had we could have some good double features. One week, Preston, we had American Werewolf in London and Underworld Evolution, and that would be our double feature.
Yeah.
See, it's interesting because I've actually never seen American Werewolf in London. Like I need to see that.
Please, can I watch
You'd
it
like
with
it.
you? I love that movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I know it's like a staple, so I need to watch it.
You might. Oh man,
It's a good
I don't
one.
want to be one of those guys who's like, Preston, watch this movie, and you're like, yeah, it was all right. Like,
I think I don't know how much you do know about American Werewolf in London.
I know nothing.
But if you, okay,
Nothing.
great. because I think you'll be very surprised at what kind of movie.
You'll be shocked. I
Very
think you'll
surprised.
be shocked. I was actually
I
Levi.
guarantee you. Yeah.
It's
What's up?
Levi, last time I was at my house, we're visiting my parents. My dad and I got like onto a conversation of like why that movie's so good, because I told him you and I were talking about it in one of our episodes, and he's like, "Oh, I love that movie. I love blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, blah blah, the blah blah blah, it's talk about why I like it so much." I don't want, because we were obviously like my dad and I were talking about spoilers. We've seen it multiple times.
Right.
I don't want to ruin anything.
Oh wow! So it's in your DNA.
It's one of those movies I saw way too young. It was just on TV. My dad's like, "Yeah, you can watch it, whatever." Like, and then I'm sleeping like in the same bed as my brother for like 3 weeks. So
That's your RoboCop.
dude, it's okay. But Levi, I love your pick. If you can't tell, I love that movie. I think it's my favorite romantic comedy that I've ever seen. I just think it's so well done. I think John Cusack is just, I get it. He's trying to be like, they're trying to make him out to be like a degenerate, but he is so likable as a character. And I think that helps with how talented Cusack is as an actor. I think he does a good job. So love that movie.
Yeah, and it does a great job of not over characterizing the nerd type. Like, he's not like a nerd, but he is a dork.
Yeah.
And
He's a goof,
I think that's like it's not like the typical like kid with glasses getting beat up or whatever.
It's an evolution from the John Hughes type of nerd, which Cusack got his start in. Like people forget he's one of Anthony Michael Hall's friends in 16 Candles, like one of his goofy ass friends. And
wow, yeah.
And I think that Say Anything is an evolution of that archetype where he became that romantic bad boy for a whole generation of 80s kids, plus Nate, of course. And actually the movie that I'm going to speak about, it extrapolates Cusack's talent, I think, in this regard, because Cusack's best films, in my opinion, Say Anything, of course, being one of them, are where he plays very unlikable, what would be otherwise an unlikable character. He's able to ground that with his quirks. You look at a movie like Con Air, and he pissed off director Simon West a lot because he insisted that his character be like, "Oh yeah, I want to just like walk around with my shoes off." Why do that? Oh, because I just want to. Like, that's part of the character that I'm inventing on the spot. And Cusack's known for his improvisation, and there's definitely moments of Say Anything where it's definitely born, where some of that character is born out of just Cusack being himself.
Right.
And I think that propensity aids that movie really well when the movie is built off of genuity and sincerity in regards to its treatment of its female character, which I think makes it hold up infinitely better than 95% of its ilk.
Yeah. I was expecting to be grossed out by something.
Yeah, some of those movies
like,
did
I was
not
like, oh,
age
this
well.
is like, but you can still enjoy it,
Yeah.
but it's like, you just you gotta go in with that little, tag in your head. But
even like Pretty in Pink, I think, has some very questionable scenes. I think Breakfast Club aged okay. I don't think that has. Yeah. Some of his later films, I think Planes, Trains is still amazing. I still love Uncle Buck with John Candy. I actually think that's my favorite John Hughes movie. If I had to pick, I love that movie. But like, there are some of the older ones that are like, ooh, guys.
But thankfully, this one is
so charming.
No, for a movie called Say Anything, they really like do a great job of saying nothing with their eyes and fucking with their eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
John had them fuck me eyes.
No, I need to rewatch it, man. It's been a couple years. I've only seen it one time, but I remember really, really, really liking it. And I wish it was a part of like my upbringing. Like I wish I had that experience.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think it's on HBO Max right now. That's where I watched it.
Perfect.
So it's either HBO Max or Hulu, but I think it's HBO Max. Nate, have you given any thought to what kind of pick you have?
I'm going between two. I think I know which one I'm gonna pick. But there's two that are really going through my head, and so when listening to the song, it's like described like how I described it. It's like a wave in the ocean. You have your highs and your lows. So you can feel that emotionally through a song, but you can also feel that emotionally kind of through a movie as well, whether it be through action, horror, comedy, romance. I don't know which one to pick because I think they both fit that idea of like starting off like bang, slowing down, getting back into it, and then slowing down and kind of, easing your landing. I'll tell you the one I didn't pick, and then I'll explain why I'm not going to pick it. So one of the two I was thinking of that came to mind was From Dusk Till Dawn, Robert Rodriguez's action horror film from '96. Because it starts off with the bang, then it lulls, and then like, oh shit, vampires, gets back into the fray, and then it like dies down. I think it's Juliette Lewis's character gets away. But when I kind of really think on the song, especially just like hearing it so recently, I don't think it's as bombastic or quote unquote violent as a horror movie. So just the other movie that came to mind.
I'm sorry. Just the fact that Salma Hayek's name in this movie is Santanico Pandemonium, like that's why I was laughing. It's not just the fact that it's a crazy movie; it's batshit and junky as fuck. It's the fact
it's insane. Yeah,
I always remember the character names for some reason. I haven't seen the movie in like 5 years, maybe, but like
it's been a while.
Yeah, but like
I remember enjoying it, but it's like not one I would turn to often.
Yeah, but I mean, Tom Savini's Sex Machine, like Dave Trejo's Razor,
the whole snake and all that. And,
oh my
God.
God.
I remember watching it, and I kind of knew nothing about it. I think it was like 19 or something. It was on TV. I know there's some movies I didn't watch as a kid, guys. And my brother and I were watching it, and it was like, oh, this is gonna be like a heist movie. Now they gotta hide. Oh wow, Selma Hayek's like stripping. What the fuck? There are vampires. Like,
hey, but
that was like our train of thought.
You also skipped the part where like it's got Tarantino sucking Selma Hayek's toe. It's like what is that about?
Yeah, I was trying to, dude, he literally went to Robert. He's like, Robert, you're my friend. Let me do this. But like, let's not warn Salma. Like it's some fucking weird shit like that.
Like, just say it was in the script.
Dude, I was trying to bypass that. I didn't want to talk about
it. My bad.
But no, you're good. But that's not the movie I went through because I think Levi's right. I think this song has a more romantic, like, or just a strong, tight relationship, whether it's just even between two friends. So the movie I'm going to go with is 1971's dark comedy Harold and Maude.
Try something new each day. After all, we're given life to find it out. It doesn't last forever.
Oh, it's all right. It's organic.
Harold?
Maude?
Did I tell you I'll be 80 on Saturday?
This is definitely a new experience for me.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Have y'all seen that? Have y'all seen it?
Yes.
I have not. I haven't.
What do you think of it, Preston?
I love it, man. I love 70s film to begin with, and it was a movie that a friend passed me his Blu-ray actually in college, because I think it was I'm pretty sure it's in the Criterion collection. But either way, it is such an off-kilter premise, but it's right. Executed with such like no tongue in cheek. Like it's with grace, like because I mean it could go either way. It's because it's literally because it's a Hal Ashby movie, I believe. Actually watched one of his movies for the first time last year. Another one of his movies, but anyways, no, Ashby's talented, man, and the premise is literally
he is.
Bud Cort plays.
It's a kid who's obsessed with death. He's like what 19, 20.
Yeah, he's
right.
And I think he's either like trying to figure out ways of killing himself, or he's like just basically mimicking suicide in different ways.
I think if I remember correctly, he's like staging death. Like whether it's, I think he did one where he's like supposed to be like hanging. One where he like, I think he like took pills. I can't remember exactly, but he drives a hearse.
Yeah.
As like, it's like a satirical kind of thing. He drives a fucking hearse, but he becomes friends with this like 80-year-old woman
while he's visiting
at
funeral.
this funeral. Yeah, he's funeral hopping. Levi, this kid is funeral hopping, and he meets this lady named Maud, and he becomes just like infatuated with her because she's got all this wisdom, and he's teaching him this idea to like enjoy his time on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And they really have this really, really tight friendship as the movie progresses. And I think there are parts of the movie where it gets kind of more hectic, like in the middle, near the end, kind of middle end part. I don't want to spoil too much because Levi, it is a really good movie. I think you should check it out.
No,
but it ends on like a kind of it ends on kind of like a calmer note because I think if I remember correctly, this isn't really a spoiler, but he drives the hearse off the cliff. And I think he's singing a Cat Stevens song, but he's in color for the first time throughout the whole movie. Yeah, that song.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
But he's in color. He's in I can't remember what color. I think it's either red or yellow. But he's in color. He's in a colored shirt. And it's the first time he's worn color all movie. It's just, I think, the way the song makes me feel is it feels like it's, like Levi said, it's between two people, but it's like a really good friendship as well as romantic. And if I want to look at it in that kind of perspective, I think that's a really good movie to use. It was one of those movies I had to watch for film school, kind of one of those side quiz movies. And I was just so enamored with it because I think it captured this concept of friendship and that age isn't a barrier for them as friends. You know, she's 80, 79, 80. He's like in early 20s. Like, that's a long gap.
Yeah.
But they don't use that as a barrier and they become great friends. And I think it's just so captivating. So that's why I think that fits. I think that fits for that movie.
It's a wonderful movie, man. It's a very, very pitch black, dark comedy that becomes a heartwarming coming of age story, but it doesn't lose its serial edge. And that's something
it maintains that black comedy throughout.
Yeah. No, it's one of the most unique comedies I've seen from the 70s. So yeah, highly recommend it. I think that's a great pick.
I think
holy shit. I was not thinking about that. Like, that's a great pick, man.
I think it's 71. It's just, it was one of those movies we had to watch for class, and I was just like, whatever. I gotta watch it. And I was like, holy crap, this is so good. Like this, because I read the premise, I'm like, all right, whatever, this is gonna be goofy. Mm-hmm. But I was like, this is like genuine, like really genuine. And the way Ashby like just captivates, that captivates their friendship. It just feels so unique and it feels so real that you feel for these characters and you want them to like maintain that friendship forever.
And Ruth Gordon, I think, is the actress's name, and she does I think her comic timing is spectacular.
She's really good in it.
She actually wrote some screwball comedy screenplays back in the 40s. Like, she was also a screenwriter too. Like, she wrote several Katharine Hepburn movies back in the day. Like, she even got an Oscar nom. Let me see.
Because she'd been in the business since like what, 1920?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Not the year, but like her age, 19.
Yeah, the silent.
I think she'd been in it for. Right. Yeah, her, like you said, Preston. Her timing is just, you can't teach that. It's just so good. I really have like a soft spot for that movie just because like it reminds me of like a lot of the tight friendships I've made over my years, like like with y'all too, for sure. It's just I think being social creatures, I think like just it's good to have your boys, like good to have your friends. I think it's just great. I think it's a great movie.
And her friendship is such a surprising but also warming catharsis too, and I think it helps that it's an older woman. Where if it was in the hands of any lesser filmmaking team, creative people or whatever, it could easily be creepy. But the fact that the movie really plays on her warmth as a maternal figure, while also, obviously being kind of a romantic coming of age movie. The movie mines a lot of great comedy out of the Oedipal aspects as well. I don't say that to be weird, but it's something that I think Ashby does with intent.
Yeah.
Again, like I've only seen it that one time in college, but like I remember so much about it, man.
I mean, granted, dude, Preston, I've only seen it 3 times total, and every time, just I'm like, this is so good. I need to watch it more, you know. So I'm with you.
I'm seriously gonna make a note to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's good, Levi. It's good. That's all I'm gonna say.
It sounds great. Sounds like a good pick.
Yeah. I'm excited.
But yeah,
to hear about
I'd like to
Preston's
watch
pick.
it. That's another one where I have always known the name, but I just never watched. You know, and that's the great thing about film school, though, is that we were introduced to a lot of movies we normally wouldn't have even looked at. So,
well, that's the beauty of like people who are film people who can share, you know, their different tastes with each other. It's like,
right.
You know, you might not be into one thing that, you know, Nate is really into, and I'm sure he shared some gems with you, you know. So and vice versa. So yeah, man.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think Last Action Hero was going to be good. And I came out of that like, this is so way ahead of its time. I was like, this is way ahead of its time.
I love that movie so much.
Brilliant.
I show everyone
that movie was way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time.
So good.
All right, Preston.
So,
what's your pick?
Preston, it's your best for last, man.
Oh, goodness. I don't know about all that. So the movie I'm picking is it's a romantic comedy. It is also a high school reunion movie. It is also a crime movie, a music heavy movie, and an action movie, all at the same time. And it does all those things better than a lot of movies, not all, but a lot of movies in those individual genres. And that movie is Grosse Point Blank.
Dear Points High alumni, can you believe it's been 10 years since you left Grosse Point?
Don't tease me, you know what I do for a living. I just honestly don't know what I have in common with those people anymore. And what am I going to say? Killed the president of Paraguay with a fork. How have you been?
Go see some old friends. Have some punch. Visit with what's her name?
Debbie.
Don't kill anybody for a few days. See what it feels like.
I'll give it a shot.
No, don't give it a shot. Don't shoot anything.
From 1997, starring John Cusack.
I haven't seen that
have
either.
Either y'all seen this? Oh man. Let me.
No,
okay, I'm gonna sell you on this. Okay, so the movie stars John Cusack. So about 8 years after Say Anything, so he's very much playing on his romantic, you know, / bad boy image that Say Anything kind of birthed for him. And of course, he did a lot of really great solo stuff in between this and then. But this was one of his pet projects, actually. Like, this was something that he co-wrote with Steve Pink. Steve Pink, who later directed Accepted in Hot Tub Time Machine and About Last Night. Very underrated comedy director, in my opinion. But anyways, I digress. But Cusack plays a hitman who is the best of his kind. And he finally gets an assignment that takes him back to his hometown of Grosse Point, Michigan, where his hit takes place at the exact same time as his high school reunion. And he hates high school. Like, high school is where he stood up an adorable woman at the time. He went off to join the army because he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. Much like what happened with a lot of people who are a part of the Fight Club generation. A lot of people who kind of went off to fight, but didn't have a war to necessarily fight for or with. His character Martin Blank is an epitome of that generation. And so here you have someone who's only really great at killing people, to the point to where his therapist and the person that he works with, who's played by Joan Cusack, actually, kind of the cue to his James Bond. She doesn't really connect with him on a personal level like he really needs to. And so he goes back to his high school reunion and has to confront all those feelings that he once left back when he was a lost teenager. And the love interest is played by Minnie Driver. A couple years, I believe, no, it's actually the same year as Good Will Hunting. So this is kind of like her peak year.
Yeah.
And the movie just has so much the comic timing. Cusack's dry delivery, I think, is arguably the best of his career. I think if you are a Cusack fan, definitely check this movie out. If you're a comedy fan, check it out. And if you're an action fan, out of action comedies, like it has some of the best action that an action comedy has ever had. Like there's a fight scene between Cusack and Benny Arquidez. Benny Arquidez, who fought Jackie Chan in the movie Meals on Wheels back in the 80s and was a stuntman for a lot of those Hong Kong movies. This movie is not a Tarantino ripoff, but it has that Hong Kong post John Woo, Troy Hart kind of influence on it. And it comes across during that fight scene. And there's a lot of moments just through the way that Cusack moves his body um, where that military type of tactician, which he studied for, by the way, he studied how to shoot guns in that manner before he filmed this movie. He does a lot of his own stunts in the movie. There's a great fight scene to Guns N' Roses cover of "Live and Let Die" as well, where it ends in an explosion. And that's the thing. Like Joe Strummer from the Clash, he pulled together. Yeah, he composed the score, but he also executively produced the soundtrack, which is a collection of like all of this great ska revival from the 80s and the 90s, as well as a lot of stuff like the Pogues. The Jam is on the soundtrack. Johnny Nash is on the soundtrack as well, and the Clash, of course. I think I said that earlier, but yeah, no. And the reason why I picked this song specifically is because one, all the genres that's playing around in and aiming and nailing perfectly at the same time. That's what this song is. This song is giving you all the different sides of Santana. Just like Grosse Point Blank, I feel like it gives you all the different sides of John Cusack. It gives you the romantic say anything type shit. It gives you the grifters type of noir that was prominent back in the 90s. It came out the same year as Con Air. So you're getting that weird Cusack who is segueing finally into the mainstream blockbuster Bruckheimer kind of mold. And I think this movie has some, if not all, of his best work. And this song, "Instant at Neshabur," I'm wrapping this up, I swear, guys. It reminds me of a scene that happens later in the movie where his adversary, who's played by Dan Aykroyd, I shit you not, that Dan Aykroyd from Ghostbusters, he's playing a rival hitman. He's coming in to basically circumvent his hit in the final act of the movie. And there's this kind of Irish sounding rock song that plays that's where a guitarist is kind of just strumming it. And I think if you replace that with "Instant at Neshabur," it would make so much sense. Particularly the beginning of the song where it gets kind of chaotic before it segues into that romantic bliss that, since the movie is a romantic comedy, it ends with. So yeah, man, if you love music, if you love action, if you love John Cusack, if you love Minnie Driver, definitely check this shit out, man. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
That sounds awesome. I'm sold.
I'm in.
There's the times when you're like, oh yeah, I'll put it on my list, and you're like, I'll watch it eventually. This is like another one of those deep covers where I'm like, I need to watch that sooner than later. That sounds really fun. And it sounds like something that's a pretty easy watch too.
It is. No, it's one of my comfort movies. Like, there's a lot of movies that I adore that I only watch if that, once or twice a year. This is one that I find myself. I swear to God, dude, I'm serious. Like, I watch this at least 10 times a year. It's while I'm working. I can literally quote the movie. Like, there's a scene where
it's just always on.
Yeah, there's a scene where Cusack is talking to Alan Arkin, because Alan Arkin plays his therapist, and he's just like, I killed the president of Paraguay with a fork, and just Cusack's dry delivery, where again, much like Say Anything, his best roles are where he's making otherwise unlikable characters palatable.
Yeah.
And Cusack has an inherent sadness to his face and his character's backstory and his portrayal that I think makes Say Anything a great intro to this triple feature, and I think it makes Gross Point Blank the bang of this triple feature, where you're getting that Cusack, but you're also getting a bit of the residuals, from Nate's movie, where the comedy is very, very dark in Harold and Maude, but the comedy is dark in a much more fantastical manner in Gross Point Blank. And the last thing I'll say before I get to what Nate has to say, because I'm very interested to hear what he has to say. The movie's directed by George Armitage, who is not a household name. He didn't direct a lot after this movie, but he came up with Roger Corman, so he made a lot of movies with like smaller stuff with like Jonathan Demme, the same camp as like James Cameron, the same camp that gave us like Jack Nicholson. So I just watched another movie of his for the first time a couple of weeks ago. That was also very, very actiony, but had some great acting. And yeah, man, I mean, he brings that Hong Kong influenced edge to this Hitman romantic comedy. So yeah.
It just sounds like a good triple feature. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah. I was thinking really about like what order, and I feel like the order that I would go with is the order of which we presented.
I think so too. Yeah.
Like I feel like it's laid out pretty well.
Yeah.
No, you'll start off with like some major classics. I would say like major classics. Right. So I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad to end it with like a cult favorite. To kind of
now that's good.
And something high energy, a little more high energy. It seems like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Say Anything and especially Harold and Maude, like those movies are very, very thoughtful.
Right.
Like Say Anything is such a generational touchstone. I mean, it's timeless. It's perfect. Harold and Maude is perfect in a filmic sense. Yeah, it's cinema. As I put my pinky up in the air.
I want to say both movies are relatively short too, like 90 to 100 minutes. They're not long.
No, and again, Gross Point Blank is very much that way. Yeah. That's why I've seen it so many times. Is that it's an hour 40, give or take.
Oh, okay, 100 minutes.
It's digestible. Yeah.
I mean, the moment that Dan Aykroyd is in a diner with John Cusack and they're eating while they have their guns facing at each other under the table, and Dan Aykroyd whispers out loud, "When you're dead, I'll skull fuck your brain hole." I just think that's peak dialogue right there. Tarantino couldn't write that.
Right.
Nope.
I'm kidding, guys. Not about that joke though. That's
nope.
Nate, especially you being a music fan,
I don't have much to say.
You will fall in love with the soundtrack, dude. I swear. Like, it's got Queen on there. It's got David Bowie's on the soundtrack as well.
Oh, is it Under Pressure? Did they choose that song?
Yeah. They choose it for a scene where John Cusack's just staring at a baby because his character is so lonely. He's just staring into a baby's eyes.
Wait, will you hold Robbie for a sec? No. I'm going to get his bottle. It's okay. Go ahead. You won't break him. Spend the first year just trying to keep these little guys alive.
Yeah, I imagine they'd be very vulnerable to the elements.
Yeah.
And the way that Under Pressure is used, anytime I hear Under Pressure, I think about that scene now. It is such a silly moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, and Pete Townshend from the Who, he's also on the soundtrack as well. So.
Oh, cool!
Wow,
yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Cusack's just awesome. I love him in High Fidelity. He's really good in that. I forgot he's in that.
Yeah.
I actually like him in 1408 as well, the Stephen King adaptation.
Sam Jackson style, yep.
Yeah, dude, that hotel room is fucking creepy. Yeah, dude, I would watch this triple feature in a day, in like a heartbeat, like no cap. And you'd be done with it in like 4 hours.
No, y'all chose some tremendous movies, man. I'm super happy that this song was able to inspire that from you guys. Hey, I didn't want to come on y'all's pod bringing a shitty ass song. I mean, I probably will do that on purpose one day just to see what y'all think. But
so far, I think we've liked everything, right?
Yeah,
there hasn't been anything where we were like,
Have we had any stinkers?
Stinkers.
No, I don't think we have.
I've liked everything so far.
Yeah, everything.
So
everything I haven't heard has joined my playlist. So it's all it's all been good.
Same. I'm very excited about this, and I feel like I got a lot of new movies to watch now.
But this was such a great episode. I love Preston. I love when you join us because like what I always thought was so fun whenever like we cross paths is you just the way like you like not hold yourself, but the way you talk about music is just so like not inviting, but like it makes my brain go too. Like because I'll pull out like one time we were at Levi's house and I said Danny Brown. You're like, I love Danny Brown. I was like, what? Oh my! And we talked about Downward Spiral. Actually, I think Levi joined as well because I know you listen to that record too, Levi.
Yeah.
But like talking about that is just so exciting. Like because like a lot of some of my coworkers listen to music, but like they're stuck in their days. You know, they're not gonna branch out more, and I don't really care to.
A lot of people don't like
often, but
dissecting thing. Like, you know how we like go deep into movies and music. And we like, I mean, and we're not even the most deep, some people go way down, but like I just have known a lot of people where they're just like not interested at all.
Yeah, well, it's true. I just think we have such like thought-provoking conversations that like my mind is always turning, even
it's
like
nice to
hours
get that.
after we talk.
Well, I think it's the way
like,
that.
Damn.
I think it's the way that. Sorry to cut you off, man, but I appreciate the.
No, you're good.
I know, seriously.
Yeah.
I love coming. I mean, I love talking to you guys always. Like that. That's never gonna not be a thing. Because I think with you guys, anytime that y'all take in content, whether you're familiar with it or whether it's foreign to you, you're always thinking about it. Like, in fact, I mean, some of the most enlightening conversations I've had with Levi have been the times that which we disagree. Because I end up coming away with insight into an alternative perspective that I wouldn't have thought about otherwise.
Yeah.
And I mean, Nate, same for you. I mean, again, the way that you elucidate about music makes me want to listen to more music. I feel like I don't do enough of that, to be honest. I mean, it's very clear that the movies that each of y'all are passionate about has definitely forged, has definitely made us all very ravenous consumers of entertainment. So, I love coming on here, man. I love being able to talk about good songs and good movies and y'all put me on to good shit all the time. So yeah, hopefully I can do the same.
We appreciate you, man. It's always I always have a good time.
Yeah, same. Preston, do you have anything you want to? Any places people want to follow you or find you at?
Sure.
Read your writings?
Sure. If you're interested in, if you have a Letterboxd account, find me at Presto_MITCH. Again, you'll find a list of some of my favorite movies, my opinions of what I've watched recently. Actually, this week I took a break today just because I needed it, but I'm doing a week where I'm watching all movies from Robert Ryan. He's one of my favorite character actors. He's in The Wild Bunch, The Dirty Dozen. Those movies, he was a very prominent civil rights activist, but who ironically played a lot of bigots in a lot of Westerns and crime films and noir of their old Hollywood days. So I'm digging really deep into some of his deep cuts that I've never seen before. So having a lot of fun with that. But yeah, man.
Thanks for listening. Follow us on Twitter at Sound Crusaders or Instagram and TikTok at Soundscape Crusaders. Until next time, you must chill. You must chill.